Hello everyone and welcome to another Warrior PvMP video. I am finally getting back around to this after having innumerable delays. I've had these particular videos sitting around for about a month now, and well, it's been driving me a little nuts. But anyway, I've got a string of 6 videos that I intend to release. I finally have a new microphone to deal with the equipment failures that I've been having, and I have gotten fully settled down here in Cambodia after getting moved in and having other stuff go on. And so now it is time to get back on the schedule. So today I am going to be showing you some 1 vs. 1s from update 5.1 and 5.2 of the Rise of Isengard. So without further ado, let us get started. Alright, first up is Radar Astio. Now here is Radar Astio. This is update 5.1, and this is back when I was still rank 8. So off we go. Now right now I am just trying to put a lot of damage on him and see how long I can keep this up. I fully expect that I'm going to be switching over into Commander stance fairly soon here. The way that I learned to fight Rune-keepers back when I was first teaching myself how to solo with a war leader was basically to out-tank them, and that worked fantastically, especially before they got the Master of Writs skill. When they got that, things really went bad because a bunch of their abilities also became unpotable then. I will mouse over the ability that in particular that I'm thinking of a bit later on. But right now, as you can see, I have failed to get into Commander stance very rapidly. I tried to fight this entirely in Brawlers, and although I took off a fair amount of health, I got flattened. So, I am back. And off we go for round 2. This time I am fully buffed. There it is, Fall to Lightning. Now, once upon a time, that was removable with a tactical pot. Now you just are forced to take the damage that it gives you, and ever since that change, I mean, I just despise it. I honestly do. Anyway, now I've gone ahead, I've gotten into Commander stance, but I'm taking a lot of stuns right now, although that did let me get a second application with that particular power Fear buff. But still, I've taken a lot of damage, taking a lot of stuns. I'm still vulnerable to more stuns, and he's probably going to be coming up here and going for that in just a second. There we go, another stun. And as you can see, I've just taken a whole ton of damage, and I'm going to go down here very soon. I'm waiting on quit wanting to fight, because that's the only way I'm going to have any chance whatsoever. But I did not come into this fight with Banner of Terror ready. And as you can see, he's just putting down so much damage that I really don't have any chance whatsoever, and down I go. So here I come. Now I am fully buffed up. I've got Destiny Point perks, I've got all 3 of the Delving Pot buffs. I am loaded up to the gills. I've got Banner of Terror ready to roll. So this is going to be it. This is everything I got going at it. Notice he is also fairly well buffed himself, although not so much with the Destiny Point perks, except for the 1 health boost and the damage boost. But yeah, we will be going away very shortly here. Apparently I'm stopping to do some emotes. I guess I started recording a little early. That's right. Okay, but there we go. Just turned on Call of Shadows, so now I'm going to be letting him have it. Banner of Terror down. Now I'm going to be dropping over to Commander stance fairly soon, but in the meantime I'm going to try to stay in the Brawler stance as long as I can, put a ton of damage on him, because if I can fight this out in Brawler stance mostly, that's my best bet, but I need to be able to drop the Commanders early enough to potentially actually survive this whole thing. It's really not going so well for me. I'm taking way more damage than I can heal. I've only gotten off, I think, 3 heals at this point, and I'm already down at the 4,000, 3,000 range now, and it's just putting out damage way faster than I can gain it back. So back before Isengard, you could out-tank a Rune-keeper most of the time and actually pull it off successfully, especially because they would never see it coming. But now it's just really not possible, at least not without cooldowns. So I'm wandering around, and here a hunter attacks me. This just kind of shows what Freaks have been doing and what their attitude and what they think they can pull off is. Notice he does have the outnumbered buff, so he's going with the plus 20% infamy, but basically he thinks that he can just jump any random guy and blow him up no problem whatsoever. And this is really just a reflection of all that the devs have done for the Freeps and how powerful they've made them. This guy, he attacked me, and he had a pretty good opening salve and everything. He's got me down to 6,500, but he didn't have anything to back it up with. He's got no endgame plan. And so I'm getting him right up in his face. I'm healing back up. I did not die when he initially attacked me, and I'm pumping damage to him, and now he's in a panic. I haven't even put down my command post again, because it's already despawned, I didn't throw it down in range, but I don't even need to. This guy is running around, he's not doing any attacks at all, and basically he's just letting me heal up and shoot him and put damage on him, and it's just not effective at all. And it just kind of shows you that they've made things way too easy for the Freeps if they can get away with that. Now this is update 5.2, and this is the day that it went live, and I run into Garny here. This is the first guy that I fight in update 5.2. Now Lore Masters, I love fighting Lore Masters. They really are my easiest opponents to go after. I went ahead and waited till Crack the Whip came off cooldown there, because I intend to fight him in Brawler stance and not drop the commanders. So I'm going to keep on popping off these Crack the Whips until I finally lose that Power Fear buff. I got it off 3 times there because of his stuns and the timing that worked out there. Notice I am taking a whole bunch of damage. This is really odd. Usually I do not take damage like this against Lore Master. So I'm getting very confused about why am I taking this much damage. I do notice that he has stacked 4 different dots on me, but even at that, the amount of damage I'm taking is very, very severe. So I've gone ahead, I've dropped the commander stance, and I'm going to be trying to tank it out. But I'm already down to 4,000, 3,000, and I am going to be going down here fairly soon, although I will be able to delay it for a while, because Lore Masters can't put down a whole ton of bursts in a short space of time without a lot of cooldowns, and he's used most of them already, namely Ents. And heal fires off, but I still go down. Well, I figured that that's a fluke, so I come back at it again. Just go, okay, he must have gotten lucky with his crits and stuff, because usually they can't do that much damage to me. So here I am, back for round 2, and off we go. And once again, he is stacking up all of the dots that he can. He's now got 3 of that 1 dot stacked up. Personally, I don't understand why in the world Turbine ever decided that any class should be able to stack 3 dots from just 1 player on a single target. That has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of dumb stuff in Monster Play. But once again, I've taken a ton of damage. I've gone into commander stance, and I'm really just shocked and flabbergasted with how much damage I'm taking. This is just absolutely insane. I'm a war leader, I'm very heavy armor, we supposedly just got our mitigations fixed, and yet I am getting slaughtered like this. It's like I don't even have any mitigations against this guy. Still, I'm trying to put up a good fight against this guy. I'm using the tree as much as I possibly can. I want to break line of sight whenever possible, but it's really not possible. It took almost 3,000 damage there on that crit, and that's that. So round 3, and here we go. Because at this point, I'm getting really determined. I want to kill this guy, because he's gotten me twice now, and I am not at all pleased about that. Now there is a warg nearby. Warg Muzzler is going to be going after Garny, but notice he takes damage even more than I do. He's basically already dead at this point. Yep, already dropped. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to heal myself up a little bit. One thing I am trying to do is I'm trying to use these trees, stay in the terrain so that I can line of sight him whenever possible. He's trying to run out to the open and make me come to where he wants me. I'm not about to play that game right now. Instead, I'm going to be backing off. And if he lets his pet come too close, I'm going to go ahead and kill the pet, and I will jump on top of him, because that pet does mitigate shadow damage. And, well, I do a lot of shadow damage, so if I can take that away, that will give me a much better chance of survival. Now, the warg had shown up again and distracted him. He could have potentially finished me off if he had continued the fight, but instead I'm over here beating on his pet, although war leaders don't really do a ton of damage very rapidly to a pet. And I also realized that I really need to be healing up right now, because the warg is not going to last very long. I'm trying to finish off the pet, but it's just not going to happen. And Muzzler is going down once again. Finally dropped into commander stance, and I'm finally pumping some heals up. So I'm back up to 8,000. Garny is moving a little bit further away, and just reapplying those dots again. So I'm just going to stay behind my tree, heal back up, and see about jumping in. Also checking the damage on that. So 200 to 300 every tick. That's very disgusting, because my auto attacks don't even hit that hard. Come on. And there's a spider and that ward now that have jumped on top of Garny. They're really giving him a beating. Spider ward combo is going to be plenty to deal with him. And I jump in, and I believe I stole the killing blow right there. But I'm still not really satisfied. I want his head. So now I am far more buffed up. I've got the damage boost, I've got infamy boost, I've got run speed boost, and I've got delving pots used. Go ahead and pop a track for Garny. See that he's still in the area. And I want this guy's head on my platter. Now I went ahead and just hit my brand, so now I am going after him. I've got everything set up for maximum defense as far as I can get, with the exception of the Destiny Point defense buff. Now he's going after Muzzler right now, so I have switched over into Art of Command. I want to be doing a lot of damage. Through the bubble right there, I want to just get on top of him, put everything I can into him. Now, I am abusing the immunity to slows that my brand is giving me like nobody's business, and just run. He wants to run across his little tar patch. I'm going to follow him, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. Got the crit right there, so that's slow. And I'm just staying on top of him and trying to beat him down and keep Muzzler up as much as I can. I'm just not getting a whole lot of crits to throw heals at him, and he's taking damage at just an incredibly rapid rate. There went Banner of Terror. I believe it just came off cooldown, that's why I dropped it now. Also, I believe that Garny just used a weaker Lore Master heal upon himself, and he did just drop Muzzler. There went the Tar, just shortly after my brand had disappeared, so he still can't really kite away from me right now, and he's only got a little over, well, less than 2,000 health now, so I want to just get on top of him and see if I can finish him off. And Muzzler pops out of stealth and finishes him off. Now, those fights were actually not indicative of what really happens in a War Leader versus Lore Master fight. And this is why, after all that, I finally went and I popped my other delving pot because it came off cooldown, and I checked out what my mitigations were at. Look at fire mitigation. I have delving pots and defensive aura. So I've got a whole bunch of extra armor value, and I've got extra armor value from defensive aura as well. And my fire damage mitigation is at 34.6%. That means that without the approximately 1,500 points of mitigation, what is it, 600, can't really remember off the top of my head right now, I would be somewhere in the realm of 28 to 27% mitigation. Less than 30% mitigation without all those extra things. That is pathetic. And to be honest, this is how mitigations were actually when Isengard first launched. So they did do exactly what they said with the update 5.2. They set it back to Isengard levels. The thing is, at Isengard levels, fire mitigation was way too low, and it was borked, honestly. And they went right back to that, and we had borked fire mitigation. And for the next several days, fire mitigation in particular fluctuated quite a bit, usually going up for us. But even now, and we're all the way in update 6 now, fire mitigation is still not where it is supposed to be. And until they actually get around to addressing a lot of these mitigation issues, which they still have not, we're still going to keep seeing monster players getting lit up like nobody's business and drop. The mitigations are currently almost perfectly balanced out in terms of everything being on an even keel, so there's no one mitigation that's severely lacking, like they had for all of update 5 and 5.1, 5.2, etc., etc. But they still have a long way to go until mitigations are actually keeping pace and leveling the playing field between the damage boost that the creeps have got and what creeps are capable of pulling off. Anyway, other fights, Radar is just the best Rune-keeper on the server, and I was giving my honest best, but he has always beat me every single time I've ever fought him, but it still is a pleasure every single time I go up against the guy. And, well, I think that wraps it up for this particular video, so we'll call it here. Good luck and have fun out there, and Ugmog is out.